debate, the Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Je me soulève aujourd'hui, Madame la Présidente, pour soutenir le projet de loi C-33 pour la création d'un musée national à Pier 21 à Halifax, Dartmouth. Je suis très content d'apporter mon appui personnel sur ce projet de loi. And before I continue, Madam Speaker, I'd like to ask for consent to split my time with the honourable member from Dartmouth-Cole Harbour.
Agreed.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition have the unanimous consent of the House for this. Yes, indeed.
Madame la Présidente. I'm rising today to speak on behalf of this project. I spent a very happy Friday morning at Pier 21, as it happens, with that force of nature, Ruth Goldblum, with Wadi Ferez, with all the incredible civic leaders of Halifax who've made this dream a reality. I want to lend the support announce the support of my party for this wonderful project, but I also stand for a very personal reason, Madam Speaker. One of the greatest things about Pier 21 as a project is that it contains all the records of Canada's immigration service in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s and 60s. Not just the port of entry at Halifax, but also the port of entry at Quebec City and in Montreal and other ports of entry. And so that all Canadians will be able to go to Pier 21 and find the place where their part in the national story begins. And that's what happened to me on Friday. I asked Pier 21 whether they could locate a certain George Ignatieff, age 15, who came ashore in Canada in Quebec City in September 1928. I wanted to find the moment in which my family's story began in Canada. And thanks to the wonderful researchers at Pier 21, they went down the long columns of those admission registers and they found that young 15-year-old, my father. It's meaningful to me to stand in this great Parliament and acknowledge with gratitude what Canada has done for my family. And I think that everyone who goes to this great national museum, everyone whose life started as an immigrant, who started the new adventure in Canada, will find this museum especially moving, especially emotional, because it is the place where, when we study all those records, Canadians can find the moment where their dream began. And for that reason, I feel especially proud to stand as the leader of this party and urge the House to give rapid assent to this marvellous bill so that we can create a museum that will allow all Canadians the joy and pleasure that I enjoyed on Friday, thanks to the work of Ruth Goldblum and Wadi Ferez and that wonderful team, that all Canadian families will enjoy that moment of thrill and discovery and emotion that I experienced on Friday. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
The Honourable Member for Dartmouth-Cole Harbour, resuming debate.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's always been my view that every Canadian should at least once in their lifetime attend a citizenship ceremony, to see the pride of new Canadians, to hear them take the citizenship oath, and to stand ramrod straight and sing "O Canada." Whether born here in Canada or, like myself, if you came to Canada at a young age, one cannot help but be absolutely touched and amazed by the pride and the passion of those who have chosen Canada. Every Canada Day, a citizenship ceremony is held at Pier 21, and a more perfect union could never be made. New Canadians from all over the world become citizens on the very ground that started the Canadian journey for so many others. As the first nation to embrace multiculturalism as a national policy, it seems natural that we would have a National Museum of Immigration, but it has only come about through vision, dedication, and unrelenting hard work. There are many people who played a big role in the evolution of Pier 21. It's not possible to pay tribute to all of the volunteers, donors, partners, and staff. But if there's one thing that every single person who ever worked for Pier 21 could agree on, it is that Ruth Goldblum is the driving force, the heart and soul, the energy that made Pier 21 come back to life. In 1989, Mr. LeBlanc asked her to join the Pier 21 Society, In 1993, she became its president. At the time, Pier 21 was a dusty, empty old shed on the waterfront that reeked of history and likely reeked of much else, but seemed an unlikely candidate to be chosen as one of Canada's 7 wonders. But Ruth could see something, and more importantly, she could translate that vision to others. And she not only encouraged people to get involved, she appreciated everybody who ever helped with Pier 21, whether they worked in the gift shop or whether they gave $1 million. The most remarkable thing, in fact, about Ruth Goldblum's leadership is her sincere belief that she is genuinely privileged to have been able to serve. When she speaks of people like Bill Snooey, who I've heard her speak of on many occasions, I believe from the Dutch Reformed Church, who visited Pier 21 when it was an old shed on the harbor, and how she connected with that and connected with him and connected with his ancestors, you get a sense of her humility and her connection to those who love Pier 21. Pier 21 is more than just a special place or a historic place. To many, it's an honored place, and to some, a sacred place. Thousands of Canadians, such as my leader, connect to ancestors at Pier 21. It helps to make them whole. Indeed, Pier 21 helps to make Canada whole. Today's a special day. I wouldn't be surprised if Ruth Goldblum, who once was known as Nova Scotia's Shirley Temple, doesn't have a little celebratory dance tonight with John Oliver, Wadia Ferris, Bob Moody, and the many others who are celebrating. This is a special day. Parliament has come together to honor our past, to celebrate our great country today, and to prepare for a bright future, and let Pier 21 take its rightful place as Canada's National Museum of Immigration. Congratulations to everybody.